Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to Brony Debates Live. I hope you guys are doing well out there and having a nice Saturday. I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off, getting absolutely nothing done this entire week. So the result of that is we're going to rot our brains further by hanging out on Reddit. Now, hopefully, the intellectual air that hangs around this live stream will counteract the negative effects that being on Reddit will have. Okay, so just picture this live stream as your radiation suit, your PPE, to avoid lethal brain-rotting exposure to that which is Reddit and the Brony fandom combined. Now then, be sure to tell me out in the chat how your week has been going and, anything that you want to talk about. Don't forget there is a link at the top of the description. If you want to join the conversation, you are highly encouraged to do so, just as long as you have something interesting to say and halfway decent, microphone and internet connection. That being said, let's go to the guests. As always, Princess Petals Blossom, how are you doing tonight, my love?
I'm doing pretty okay. I'm finding vectors online.
Cool. What kind of vectors?
A knife.
A knife? What do you need a knife for, Heather?
Halloween.
Oh, okay. I think I have one, actually. I'll have to...
I found one that's bloody.
I'll double check my my folders after the stream. Oh, excuse me. And see if we can find it. And we've got DJ. How are you doing tonight, DJ?
I'm doing all right, Did a couple hours of playing Doom on my own stream, so I'm ready to see what the ponies bring.
Nice. Yeah, we gotta cleanse your palate of all the demon slaying with something cute and wholesome. Rusty in the chat. A knife? No!
Yes.
Gojillion wants to know, can we call you Brawny Cluck tonight? Why the frick would you... Oh, yeah, because I'm a chicken with my head cut off.
Wah, wah.
So, I thought it was a Scootaloo joke.
Yeah, I suppose so. Look at all those chickens. Anyway, speaking of Scootaloo, let's get into it. Does anyone feel the portrayal of Scootaloo's disability was done dirty by the writers? I will say at the beginning, yes. Let's read what they have to say. Oh, we got more than one picture here. Holy frick! Oh, I keep forgetting about Snowflake. I still don't like calling him Bulk Biceps. I know that I do on occasion, but he will... I'm an old OG Brony. He will always be Snowflake to me. Does anyone feel the portrayal of Scootaloo's disability was done dirty by the writers? Which, by the way, let me just see, is this... That should be a little bit easier for the audience to read. Heard an argument on Twitter where a bunch of fans got mad at someone not picking up on Scootaloo being disabled. Thinking about it more, I understand why some fans may have that discrepancy in thinking she's just a late bloomer. Even though Scootaloo's tiny wings are meant to be seen as a disability, there are other cases where we see tiny wings being portrayed as a gag, like characters with bulk biceps. The guy's wings are the same size as Scootaloo's, yet the joke is that he can somehow fly even with his massive build. Like, what is it, FIM? Do you want us to see the tiny wings as a joke or a disability? It almost feels like they are poking fun at Scootaloo's disability while creating a false sense of hope that she'll eventually be able to fly. I'm just going to say real quick, Hasbro are cowards. And I might explain that a little bit more, but before I do, let's hear from DJ. DJ, what's your take on this topic?
I think it's more to do with changing canon through the show. Because as far as I know, we don't have any evidence that from the start she was designed as having a disability. She was just a young Pegasus. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong.
Okay, because I think it was just over time they eventually changed it to where it's a disability for her, and by then bulk biceps already existed. So I think it's just a case of changing canon.
That's an interesting take. I hadn't considered that before. Heather, what do you think?
I might have to agree with you. I don't think they really thought about the fact that Scootaloo couldn't fly for a long time. I mean, how often did we really see foals her age flying beforehand?
Yeah,
I think people put that interpretation onto it.
I think the first example we got of that was season 4, when Diamond Tiara got under her skin and was like, "Oh my God, you can't, your age, you can't, and you're still not flying." And then she looks around and she sees a bunch of other kids her age flying. So,
oh wait, considering I correct myself. We did see people in like foals in season 1 fly. We saw Rainbow Dash do it, and they looked about Scootaloo's size.
Yeah.
But I think weren't their wings like the same size too?
They were. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And considering season 3 was going to be the original series finale, I think maybe around season 4 they decided to go into it. So I don't think it was a case of that started out as a disability. It's just as the show continued on, it morphed into that.
Yeah. So Rusty's saying, should we have gotten a Scootaloo and bulk biceps episode or scene with him giving advice on her flying? Well, that all depends on the direction that they wanted to take it. Now, I've actually had back 10 years ago, did a whole video about whether or not Scootaloo could fly. And my headcanon at the time was she could, but she's, not being trained properly. And Jay Yoshi saying Pound Cake can fly. Yes, but in that episode when the Cake twins got introduced, they said that, babies, they have these bursts of magic and their, racial abilities go haywire for a little bit there before they calm back down. Little unicorns, baby unicorns have bursts of magic where they can just do whatever, and Pegasus babies get, they start flying all over the place. So, but I think DJ might be onto something to a certain degree, that it's reasonable to assume that, we'll say at the start of the show, Scootaloo's, somewhere between 5 and 9, something like that. Definitely not older than 10. And you wouldn't exactly expect a kid that age to be a master at whatever, physical activity that they've probably just taken up. And we were also seeing that, at the time she had a Talon for her scooter. But then when we get into season 4, and we have at least one episode of Scootaloo going, "I'm having trouble flying. My wings haven't quite grown in yet." Now Hasbro has to make the decision of where they're going to take this. And they didn't really put, they didn't really decide for sure whether or not they were going to have her be disabled until season 8. So 4 seasons later. And they were just kind of wishy-washy on it, and so that they could go either way at any point they wanted to. But as we saw, in season 6, and anytime, season 6 with Cadence's pregnancy, or anytime that death got mentioned, or in season 5 with Tanks for the Memories, Hasbro just would not commit to hard topics, to the circle of life, and when they did, they would often, I'll just say, did it wrong. They could have had Scootaloo be disabled. They didn't need to take it that long, and then they just did nothing with it at the end there.
Oh, I suppose the question would be, what could they do where it wouldn't just come out as preachy, like a PBS show about a kid in a wheelchair?
Now that's a very good question. When it comes to the writers of Friendship is Magic, I trust them, but I don't think that they were given the creative freedom to do what they wanted to, what they would have wanted to do. So if they would have been like, okay, let's make Scootaloo disabled, and we could write a whole episode, and I trust that they would do it right. And then, but Hasbro probably came in and said, no, we don't want to be that explicit about it or that. So,
I mean, it could also just be the writers wanted it to stay subtle.
Yeah. And another thing is that the question in itself of how do you tackle this topic without it being preachy, like a corny PBS sort of show, is... It's an interesting question in itself, because that, like, people really do have moments like that where they have to explicitly confront the fact that they are disabled when they are disabled. You know, that like every disabled person, or even really people, it doesn't even have to apply to a disability. It could also apply to people who just have like they have an interest in something, but they're not terribly talented at it, so they might not ever be good at this thing that they want to be good at. So that's obviously not nearly as bad or as intense as just straight up being disabled in some way. But yeah, especially for a kid that wants to be a flyer, finding out that she can't fly is going to be devastating. She's going to have to confront that head on in order to start the process of being at peace with it, and finding a different path in life, which is going to, by nature, sound like a PBS, the PBS program that you said.
To an extent, isn't that what happened in the washouts?
Yeah, but even then they were still, I feel like they didn't commit.
I don't know. I think they did what best they could without trying to be overt, because I think the subtlety does it better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because even then, in that episode, Scootaloo flat out says she will never fly.
Yeah. But what?
It was more about if I never fly.
Yeah. Well, and so, and yeah, that's when they said it. You know what? What I wanted was, I wanted the conversation of Scootaloo, like, trying and failing and going around to people and saying, hey, what problem am I having? And then eventually landing on, like, a doctor or something that would tell her, no, you've got this problem, so it's not likely you'll ever fly. That's what I wanted. And just kind of going through the process of figuring out exactly what the problem is and putting words to it. And the reason why, and I feel like that's the best, most realistic way to handle that. But Hasbro didn't do that, and I would guess that they didn't do that because they basically don't want another derpy situation where they're not at peace with the idea that somebody is going to get offended no matter what they do. Somebody got offended by something in every single episode of this show out there, because, you know, it's just the type of mentality you see on Tumblr at the time, moved over to Twitter, moved over to Blue Sky. It's that type of perpetually offended person. And when you bring something as sensitive as a disability into it, they're going to have an even worse emotional reaction, even if it does or does not represent them in any way. And they don't want any kind of backlash. So if there was any, like, the story of Derpy always changes. There's a million different versions of what actually caused that change out there. But the most common one that I see is something like 10 people wrote in and complained about her being called Derpy and her having crossed eyes. And that was enough for them to just totally, completely change that episode. So imagine that, but with actually tackling the subject of disability. They did the same thing in Surf and or Turf, where they wouldn't tackle the subject of divorce. They did the same thing in Tanks for the Memories, where they wouldn't tackle death. They did the same thing in The Crystalling, where they wouldn't tackle pregnancy. So that's why I say that they were cowards. We just got this. We were teased, and we were will they, won't they for 8 seasons, or 4 to 8 depending on how you look at it, before Scootaloo finally just gives up and goes, I can't fly. And that's exactly what she said. She just said, I can't fly. Not, I have a disability. Not, I don't know how. Not, there's something wrong with me. Not I can't. And then you just left it at that. So they didn't really go into why, which is what I think is important here. And they didn't really go through the process of her making peace with it. It was just a very sudden, I can't fly, and that's the end of the conversation. Watch me go shoot myself out of this cannon. Because they didn't want, they were doing everything they could to not offend people. That's my theory. They just, yeah.
I don't know. I see, something to tackle that is not easy. And there's a lot of writers out there who would not feel up to be doing that. And it's just as likely that no one on the MLP staff felt that they could write that. And anything that you think up anything you would have thought up the episode would have never matched your expectations.
Perhaps. And I don't know if it really needed to match.
It would have been way too easy for it to flop.
I guess. You know what? Can I pull up the video that I did on this a long time ago?
Do you have the rights to it?
It's literally my video.
Well, I don't know if YouTube will agree with you.
Let's see here. I think it was Can Scootaloo Fly? And I'll just transition that. And yeah, Can Scootaloo Learn to Fly? It's a 7.5 minute video, not counting credits. We don't have to watch the whole thing, but I said I'm gonna run with it at some point in time here. And then it was from there, it was just my headcanon. So let's drag this, let's see here, over to the browser window. And we'll transition that back. And let's see here.
Preference for which direction they take. I do believe that these show writers will be able to handle it well, so long
voice
as
sounds
they
weird.
choose.
I was using a different microphone and a different environment at the time. So yeah, I'm gonna sound a little weird here.
Described.
The main idea of her Scootaloo episodes revolved around how Scoots was technically a handicap, for lack of a better word. Lauren said that she designed Scootaloo to never be able to fly. She never wanted her to fly.
Oh, well, there was the answer to that question that we had forgotten about.
Where did that come from?
I'm even looking on the wiki, and I don't see any source.
Oh, let's see here.
Being brought right back to square one, I tried to find what the other writers thought about the subject, and was unable to. At this point, I can't do anything else but run with it. I should advise my audience that this next point is merely my fan theory, and that my theories tend to get crushed by the show.
As this one did as well.
Regardless, I think it's possible for Scootaloo to overcome her ailment. She's shown that she's willing to put forth great amounts of effort, and she's gaining hang time on her wings. These are both good signs. All she needs to do now is focus on strengthening her wing muscles while learning the finer mechanics of flight. I ran into something similar once while I was teaching phys ed. One of my students was very weak and asthmatic, so over the course of a year, I focused with him on holding deep stances, practicing slow aerobics, and breathing exercises. This method is similar to what's used in Tai Chi. By slowing down the movements, someone can better focus on maintaining proper form. This trains a much more consistent muscle memory, ultimately reducing both recovery time and chance of injury. The muscles are stretched and exercised without the harsh strain of typical aerobic exercises, while the breathing exercises strengthen the respiratory system. The combination of these factors eventually got the student up to average strength.
Oh, we got a tip.
7
Let's see.
equals 1 heart tipped $13.37. Here's to the start of a good October, Brony.
Oh, thank you, 7.
Yay!
At this point, he was able to keep pace with the rest of the class, and he quickly became one of my best students. In short, does anyone remember what I said during flight to the finish? With regular weight training on the wings, slow flapping drills, and endurance drills mixed in with a high-protein diet and acupressure massage therapy, you'll be up to average strength in a couple of years. If you keep training once you've cleared that hurdle, then your flying will improve by leaps and bounds. I'm certain that...
Man, that freaking built-in mic on the 2010 MacBook Pro was not good. My voice was tinny in that clip.
that there are a multitude of other methods that would be better known to a doctor of some kind.
So yeah, that was my theory on that whole thing.
So the closest I can find on the wiki is that Lauren Foss stated Scootaloo was originally conceived as getting in a lot of schoolyard fights over being picked on for not flying.
Okay, well, I mean, that's good enough for me.
That can mean a myriad of things.
Yeah. Rusty
Theory, a
saying,
lot of
Brony,
people went with this.
Brony, do you still think it's possible for Scootaloo to overcome her disability? Maybe. We don't know because they didn't really commit. We don't really know what that disability was. So
No.
I don't know.
I almost think it would have been too dark for them to go into exactly what it would have been. You can go too far when you go into medical stuff.
Yeah, you can.
And they didn't really do much for medical explanations in the show in general.
But we're really getting back into the point where we're sort of underestimating the audience here. I think, I mean, first of all, at this point, the audience was mostly adult. It was mostly adults. But even for the kids, like, kids can understand this type of thing. Shoot, there's a lot of kids that go through this type of thing.
I'm not saying it's underestimating the viewers. I'm saying it doesn't really feel like it would fit.
How so?
It doesn't match the kind of stories that the show tells.
I suppose I see what you're saying, because the theme of the show is supposed to be about friendship, so that the show isn't really
it's also
about
fantasy.
Yeah, the show isn't whether or not this young girl can fly. It's maybe about how she would deal with that with her friends by her side or something like that. Is that what you're saying?
Something along those lines. And going too far into that really does kind of take the fun out of fantasy stories if you do too much explaining.
So let me ask you this, DJ. Do you think there's a balance? Do you think it's possible to balance what I want versus what you think is reasonable within the themes of the show, or what would have happened?
I believe there is a balance, and I think the show kind of hit it.
Interesting.
Where it's more or less kind of up to your interpretation, which I think is perfectly fine. I mean, sure, the interpretation part goes out of the way by season 8 and 9, but for most of the show, Scootaloo could maybe fly, maybe she couldn't.
Interesting.
I
Petals,
think that,
what do you
that
think?
adds an interesting aspect for people to work off of.
I think it really just gave way to so many fan theories. So one that I heard a lot was that people were like, well, maybe she was just because like people like to talk a lot about pony genetics for some reason. Like, because you would get like the freaking family's all unicorns, the family's all earth ponies, but of course that there's got to be some intermingling at some point. And a lot of people wanted to be like, oh, maybe Scootaloo is a Pegasus that doesn't know how to fly because her parents are not Pegasi. Like maybe they're both earth ponies, or one's a earth pony and one's a unicorn, and they don't know how to teach her how to fly, and they don't really address it because they don't get why it's important. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I always kind of just ran with it. I never thought about. I mean, I can't say I never thought about. I think it was a fun part of fandom to just like listen to people's theories about it. There was the whole orphan Scootaloo theory that was going around for a while.
Well-
like literally, I've seen like people make fan art of her living out of a box, and I'm just like, there's no way that's flying in Equestria. We don't find foals in a small town of Ponyville living in boxes, people.
So what we ended up getting was very close to that. And I will never
Negligent
forget.
parents.
Yeah, I will never forget this picture.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, she had a greater chance of being Cheerilee's sister than that.
Yeah, she does have Cheerilee's coat color in her hair.
Well, it's because in the previous generation, Scootaloo was Cheerilee's younger sister.
Oh.
Back
I
in
would
Gen
have
3.
taken that. I would have taken that. That would have been cool.
That's probably, you know what? What if Cheerilee is distantly related to Scootaloo? Like, not like an aunt, obviously, but I don't know. Like, you'd
Like a
have like
second
family
cousin kinda
friends or
thing?
relatives. Yeah, because like maybe that's it. Because she obviously has aunts and aunts, of course. But like with the similarities, maybe that's why Cheerilee's also one of the people that takes care of her. Because it's like, oh yeah, that's like my niece 2 times removed or some shit.
So
Fourth
yeah,
cousin thrice removed.
we did a whole lot of that. Let's see what else is happening down here. The show is done dirty by the subreddit.
Are they wrong?
Don't mess with MLP fans. We don't watch or understand our own show.
Oh, no. No, MLP is
You
full
know-
of
you know-
Yu-Gi-Oh fans.
I will say this though. That was a fan theory going on for a long time that her parents were like not exactly Pegasus ponies or something like that, and then it turned out to be true. And even like in my own in like the story of A Buck to the Face, it's been mentioned once or twice that Brony was not good at flying. Brony has an Earth pony father and a Pegasus mother, so I was always of the headcanon that like the racial aspect, like whatever you get is more like a switch, but it definitely seems to have a canon like gradient, like spectrum slider that you're going to get some amount of Earth Pony or some amount of Pegasus if your genes are mixed. So it might, having Earth Pony ancestry might make you a weaker flyer, or this, that, or the other thing, So, and yeah, Scootaloo's got an Earth Pony father too. I got my chat correcting me on my own lore, like I made a mistake. But yeah, Brony is like that as well. And couldn't fly when he had it couldn't fly very well when he had wings. Just a reminder, because I don't think it's been mentioned that Brony wasn't a great flyer, but I don't know that I've ever like explicitly stated it in a video. Brony had trouble taking off. He had to run, or he had to jump off of a building or launch himself somehow, and then he could glide. But yeah, so let's see here. They cover this extensively in both Flight to the Finish and the Washouts. I don't see how you can watch those episodes and not understand Scootaloo's disability, since her feeling unhappy about her inability to fly is what drives both episodes. I feel like there were more episodes than that too. as far as representation goes, I think Scootaloo's disability is far better covered than something like how Apple Bloom was orphaned at a young age, which they basically ignore, and we never. Yeah, that's another thing. The freaking Apple parents.
The follow-up gives a good reasoning for it.
Yeah, and then it's like I didn't have any trouble with the perfect pair. Some people were saying it was a retcon. The only thing close to a retcon I can see in the perfect pair is that they never mentioned the oranges, Aunt and Uncle Orange in Manhattan, where Applejack went before she got her cutie mark. They never mentioned that, but the retcon, the real retcon was in Where the Apple Lies, where Applejack is older, but there's no Apple Bloom. Like, we should have seen, there's no Apple Bloom, but her parents are obviously gone. How the frick does that work?
Maybe Apple Bloom was in preschool.
Maybe Hasbro needs to commit and talk about the Circle of Life if they're going to have these themes. Yeah, so that's let's see here. I don't think there's any more I can pull out of this. Let's move on. Which of the girls' bad gala dresses do you find the most likable?
Honestly, if I may, as the woman of this stream.
Oh, you sexist pig.
Yeah. Be upset all you want about it. I kind of veer toward Twilight Sparkle because all she really did was like put a blanket over herself. She's like, I just want a blanket, thanks. You want to? I'll wear a headband and some earrings if you want. She just showed up in a blanket, and you know what? Mood. What the fuck was Fluttershy thinking with putting an entire bird's nest in your hair? When people call your hair a bird's nest, it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
I guess like frickin' straight up Rainbow Dash just wanted to wear some armor, and that's it.
I don't know why
really.
that got me.
I think Pinkie Pie's got the best outfit of this group here.
I don't like the green top. I think Rarity was right. The green just isn't it. The rest of it would be fine. Don't like the green top.
Oh, geez, Goja Lion in the chat. Remember the whole it's lime green bit? You shut the frick up. I will never forgive DJ for betraying the bro code that night.
I don't remember that at all.
You don't remember that? Petals and I got...
No, you don't make enough flips.
Shut up. We got into it about the color of Pinkie Pie's bow. And I was it's yellow. And you like pulled up Photoshop or something and went, it's lime green. And at this point...
I told you, bitch!
At this point, I knew I was wrong, but my pride was on the line. I kept trying to fight with Petals. And then I was like, DJ, back me up. And you were like, it's lime green. And I'm like, you violated the bro code.
Well, as it's been demonstrated, I am not here to support your pride. I am here to tear it down.
God dang it. I thought we were friends. We
are. That's why I do this.
Know your colors better, Brony. Shut up. These guys are both freaking colorblind.
What I was finding funny is when you said when you called Petals a sexist tig. For some reason, that just got me thinking. Oh, great! Her next cosplay is going to be as Miss Piggy this year.
I could pull a Miss Piggy. I'm porky.
You totally could.
Yeah.
Cosmina,
the attitude of Miss Piggy.
If I'm going to be Kermit, I got to lose 100 pounds. Cosmina says, Fluttershy is fine, but yeah, the bird's nest is ridiculous.
You do behave a lot like Kermit does in the Muppet Show.
Do I?
Everything's going wrong and you're just screaming behind the scenes.
Yeah, because I'm trying to fix it and getting absolutely zero help.
Again, Kermit.
Alrighty then.
But I would have to say out of all these Pinkies, it's probably the closest to being an actual outfit.
Yeah. 100%.
Fluttershy's maybe. Because, I mean, I'm sure there's some rich weirdo that wears bird nests. It wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make it good.
I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say something that might make me sound like an idiot, but did y'all notice the logo for Rarity in the background here? Am I the only one just now noticing that that's a letter R for Rarity and it's shaped like her hair?
You know what? Now that you mention it, yeah.
Oh, thank
She's
God!
got branding.
Thank God I'm not the only one just now noticing that it was a letter R.
Yeah, I just hadn't thought too much about that logo, but that's well designed, honestly.
I was kind of confused what it was for a bit.
Rusty,
yeah, that's actually a good brand logo for her.
Yeah. Rusty, paraphrasing me, I knew I was wrong 10 minutes ago. I'm just trying to make you... Let's see here. Oh, distraught Rarity. Rainbow Dash helmet. I remember saying the Rainbow Dash. Rainbow Dash looked like a rejected Final Fantasy character.
Some people are into that. Just needs extra zippers and buckles.
Some people are wrong. Let's move on. I want to clear something up, Princess Luna. Okay, that's all we need to know. I have seen Luna having a possum as a pet. Is this something canon within the franchise or just something that people came up with? So
it is canon.
It was in the comics. It was in the comics.
Yeah, but that's a whole freaking thing of whether Tibble. Yeah, that's a whole freaking thing of whether or not the comics are actually canon.
Didn't someone tell us one of these streams that it was canon until the show says otherwise?
That's generally the attitude of like the comic writers as well as show staff. And it's like the show will take from, or the comic will take from the show, but the show doesn't really take from the comic. Which, I hate that. Your department's got to talk to each other. It's not hard. It's not hard.
That's kind of how all show comics have been. That's what it was for the Batman comics back in the day during the 90s run.
I don't know anything about that. I'm sorry.
And you literally had Superman and Wonder Woman appear in those comics. Wonder Woman didn't even appear until Justice League, and that was her first outing. And Superman had a mullet.
I could see Superman with a mullet, though. He grew up in Kentucky.
He grew up in Kansas.
Kansas, thank you.
Redneck.
Yeah, DJ had to claim that one because he's from Kansas too.
I have grandparents from Kansas.
There you go. A real thoroughbred Kansinian here in the chat.
Oy. Gonna get me mixed up in the nothing land that is Kansas.
Guys, just so you know, I'm trolling. I know he's not from Kansas, but really, you're gonna tell me that where you are from is any different from Kansas?
We at least have two cities. Kansas doesn't even have Kansas City.
That is true. It's in Oklahoma, isn't it?
Missouri. It's on the border of Kansas and Missouri.
Yeah, I've seen the joke of Missouri's got two cities and they're both trying to get out of Missouri because they got Kansas City and they've got St. Louis and both are like right on the border. Cosmina is mad at me, and Trent is saying, "Isn't it Kansan?" Yes, I know it's Kansan. I'm a troll. Let's see here.
I do that too. I call Iowans Iowegians.
Ha! Yeah, but they deserve it.
And we also call Council Bluffs Council-tucky.
I don't know anything about that.
You don't need to. Just know there's gambling next door.
Let's go gambling. All right. How did Hasbro get inspired for the characters Tempest Shadow and Queen Opaline? First of all, we don't say Tempest Shadow in this dojo. We say Fizzle Pop Berry Twist. Yeah.
Opaline.
White Eagle says, "Boo Chiefs, go Broncos."
Yeah, it's football.
Listen,
Have
I
to go for
love
the Chiefs here. They're the closest.
I love talking about religion. Sports is a religion too extreme for me. I can't get into that one.
But Brawny, the Sports Bowl.
Go Sports. Okay, so let's see. I'm wondering about the characters Tempest Shadow and Opaline. How exactly did Hasbro were getting inspired for them? Let's try that again, but this time with a third grade reading comprehension.
Where's Grammarly when you need it?
Because I've never seen dark purple ponies in G4 before, unless I'm tripping. I just wanted to know where they got the inspiration from. Did they get the inspiration from artists off the internet like they did with Equestria Girls? Because I have a dark purple pony that I made back in 2016, this person, who are you? Nikki Kenarasau? What?
Nikki Ken Karasu?
Nikki Ken Karasu. Okay, thank you for being literate, DJ. You better not be on the track of they stole my OC and put it in the movie. I really hope that's not what I'm about to read. Series Brownie sequel continuation to that fanfic named Muffins. When I was 19 years old, and I just feel like they might have gotten inspired by that or other purple ponies just like mine. Son of a gun!
We're not allowed to accept unsolicited material.
I mean, it might be possible because Hasbro has gotten inspired by human designs like Pinkie Pie and Rarity Online to make Equestria Girls. I mean, surely there's a... Okay, I can say this about Equestria Girls. They did admit that part of the reason they went forward with Equestria Girls was because they saw the fandom making a lot of humanized art. However,
And compete with Monster High.
Yeah, that too. I'm a fan of humanized art. I've been into humanized art ever since I joined the fandom in like 20, well, I joined the fandom technically in 2010, but I was like really getting into the fandom in like 2011, 2012. So I've been a fan of humanized art since then. I can tell you, I never saw humanized art that looked like what we got out of Equestria Girls. Now, like the first Equestria Girls movie was very simplistic. I think half of them were just wearing white tank tops and skirts of their colors or something like that. In fact, I'm gonna have to pull that up right about now.
They were
Let's see here.
still getting used to having to design them, so design them,
Yeah.
animate them.
So the
Gotta start school.
Yeah, where was the original lineup here? Let me grab this image in new tab and just kind of let me blank that so the stream doesn't see. Yeah, and then we'll go back and zoom in. Okay, so yeah, I never saw. I think the closest one I saw to these designs might have been with what like Twilight got here, where they kind of gave her sort of like this schoolgirl sort of look with a bow tie and things like that. But I never saw anything like any of these in the humanized.
I think most
art.
humanized Applejack had pants.
Yeah. So did most Rarity. And Fluttershy, it typically came in one of two flavors. She was either like this really beautiful, like long flowing dress and this, that, the other thing, or it was like Zookeeper. Personally, I think the Zookeeper designs were like better because it's like more realistic. Here's this girl that's like taking care of 1 million animals every day. Rainbow Dash, I had almost never seen Rainbow Dash in a skirt until Equestria Girls. So yes, they went with it because they had a feeling that the fandom would be into it because of humanized artwork, but they did not design. I am 99% certain they didn't really design their designs off of anyone that had made humanized artwork. If anything, they probably had folders of those things pulled up just to make sure they didn't accidentally copy somebody. So my question is, what was the inspiration? I've now asked for the third time. Because this has been bothering me for a while now, because I think they stole my OC. Maybe 2 years ago, I don't know. I really want to know the inspiration in these two characters. I just found out there's suddenly 2 purple ponies created now in G5 and G4, because all you see is G4 is light purple and such. I don't want to sound egotistical or anything like that. I'm surprised you haven't yet said Flashlight is a bad canon ship. Twilight should be dating my OC. Edit, okay, I feel dumb for asking about Tempest Shadow. Edit 2, for clarification, I meant more of the colors of the pre-movie MLP, not the character itself. I apologize for everything. No, it does not help. So, Tempest is based on a dark purple G3 pony called Fizzy Pop, who appeared in 2004.
Wow.
Now, I didn't know that. That sounds pretty cool. Let me go pull a picture of Fizzy Pop.
Well,
little
damn.
Huh. Yeah.
Fizzle
It's not quite as dark of a purple.
Yeah, let me,
So I guess we know what her cutie mark looks like.
It looks like there's a G4 design, too. Hang on. Let me pull these up.
It looks like it might have been a blind bag.
Yeah, it looks like it was a blind bag. It's just a recolored Pinkie Pie in this instance. But I guess we know what Fizzlepop buried to his cutie mark is under that suit. No wonder she wears the suit. She's embarrassed. She's embarrassed. She makes a good freaking soda float.
Yeah, and then we got this one. Fizzy Pop. So I didn't know that.
That's pretty close.
But look, I guess I can understand that you are curious because you've never seen characters like this in the show before with any similar designs. But you came at it with a thing of, did they steal my OC? It's like, no, they did not steal your OC. I don't know how fans get that in their head that their OCs got stolen. It hasn't happened since Venom. Well, my OC
is just so good, Brony.
It hasn't happened since Venom, and even with Venom, at least there was a contest involved. People knew they were signing up to get their OC stolen, and it still created a cluster screw of legal trouble. I saw that at the Grand Brony Gala one time. I think it was the third one. We had Dave Polsky as a guest. And one of the convention goers came up, and I'm not gonna shame her because she wasn't fully she was mentally handicapped, right? That's the best way I can say it. She's just straight up mentally handicapped, very developmentally delayed, and got up there and was like, you made Daring Do real in your episodes, and I wrote a fan fiction where Daring Do was real. Did you steal from me? And Dave was like, did you ever publish that? And she goes, no. And he goes, well, there you go. How would I steal something I was never able to even see on the internet at all? But I have seen people on the internet, and I think other times at conventions, just legitimately go, did you steal my OC? Just totally unironically. And I don't understand. Like, I could almost understand, this developmentally delayed girl having trouble piecing that together. But some of these other people I've seen do it don't have an excuse.
It's a pretty arrogant accusation.
It really is. But I'm glad
also
to
why
have
a lot
known
of
about
creatives aren't allowed to look at fan works anymore. These crazies will sue over this stuff.
Yeah, or they do just to make sure that that they don't copy, which is also so, but yeah, a lot of the show staff have been like, no, we don't interact with the fandom at all because we don't want it affecting our work and things like that. It sounds like something an animator might do, but what was it? Who was the show creator? It was either there was some show that was getting started on Disney, and it might have been Star versus the Forces of Evil or Gravity Falls or something like that, but they pulled the show creator into a room once it got greenlit and brought out these giant binders and just plopped them on the table and said, look through that. And it was all Kim Possible porn. And the directors go, just so you know, this is what the internet's going to do with your characters. Make peace with it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm all for that.
You're all for what? There's a few things going on in that story.
For the executives to be pulling fresh creatives in, showing them what's going to happen to their characters if it takes off, and just say, accept it.
Yep. Yeah, you got to be ready. Let's see here. Moving on. I'm glad I learned about Fizzle Pop today. Let's see. Looking for coloring pages for my daughter and found this. What is this? Are they smoking?
Very clearly, yes. They smoked a lot, too. That room probably smells terrible.
Where
The
did this
different
come
line
from?
thickness is hurting my eyes. Starlight's outline is so much thicker than Trixie's.
Okay.
Went over
So-
it with a Sharpie.
Look at that carpet. Heather, does that carpet look familiar to you?
Not off the top of my head. Is it
Oh,
our carpet? Is
here
it in
we
our
go.
house?
No. I gotcha. I color often with my wife and friends because we're adults and was upset I couldn't find any Trixie or Starlight Glimmer pages, so I realized I can make my own. Here's two of my face. Smoking a pile of cigarettes inside the house. What the frick is wrong with you?
Nice
I
prank,
was
bro.
gonna
Nice
say
prank.
that carpet kind of looks like the Rosen Center.
It would be a Mayor Fairfucker.
It would be. And only somebody who attends Mare Fair would ship Trixie and Starlight Glimmer and call them faves.
And also make them
At least they were
chain
kind enough to
smokers.
include the sheet.
I was more
can print it
confused
pretty
by
far
Starlight
down.
having her season 5 hair. Heather, did you draw this?
Well, it was the superior hair. Now, I'll show you the last picture I drew of Starlight Glimmer. Oh, it's on my iPad, so I'll have to go get that. Point being, I drew her being dumb and stinky with her ugly hair.
They're adults with rough lives. Those are joints for sure. Weed pony not there. Maybe they're breakup bangs. Yo, can I print and color this?
That's why they included the blank.
Yeah, we got the digital file here.
I was going to say, like, before I read anything else, that they probably got the coloring book off Amazon, and it was probably from a Chinese company that was just taking people's fan art and just, like, freaking putting it in books.
Oh, they'll
Is
do
this better
that.
or worse?
They'll do that, 100%.
They'll do that. Y'all remember the time Dr. Wolf and Silverquill got on the box set DVD?
I have that.
Great.
You know what you should do, Brony? You should print this off and color it and post it in the next stream. Or post it on Twitter.
Yeah, I'll put it on the fridge if you finish it, honey. I have 2 pictures that friends of ours have colored in from My Little Pony coloring books, and I'm gonna put it
gotta
on
do it
the
in crayon.
fridge. Yeah, you gotta
Crayon.
do it in crayon. Crayon.
Oh, jeez.
Just post it on Twitter when it's done.
I guess so. Yeah, I'm opening Photoshop now. Oh, frick. we got 5 minutes here. I don't know. What do you guys think of all this? We've had a pretty crazy night so far.
We got a lot out of that Scootaloo one.
Yeah, that was like a half
We
hour
always
a lot
end
right
up
to
doing
there.
a lot on
Yeah.
Scootaloo.
Well, Scootaloo, there's a
Scootaloo's a
lot
hot
to
topic.
talk about with Scootaloo. I don't know. Let's see here. Where is it? Is it this one? Yep, it is that one. And let me get the window going. All right. Oh, should have pulled up and it didn't. What the frick is wrong with Photoshop? Or is it OBS that can't handle it? Because like it's not showing up. Let me try something else here. Properties.
Let's see. Did we have any questions in the chat?
Yeah, handle that for me while I figure this out.
Let's see. Oh, I saw one. Where'd it go?
Where did it go?
Goji Lion said, asked, since PBS was brought up, what are your guys' favorite PBS kids shows?
Shoot, I don't know anything about that.
I really don't like them. I really thought most of the PBS shows were very
Really?
boring.
Oh, we were a big Clifford's and Dragon's Tail family here.
God, those shows are so boring. Like it was
Hey, when
all
you're
just like
4,
they made
they were
dragons
great.
lame. How do you make dragons lame? Like that, I guess.
Dragon Tales. One's gonna be in a wheelchair.
All right, I'm gonna color these. I'm gonna color these based off of just memory. So we're just gonna. I think Starlight is frick. She's lighter purple. Which is down here. Yeah, there's Starlight right there. All right. Yeah. That's totally Starlight.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
Twilight.
Let's make Trixie lime green.
well, if that's
Yeah,
Twilight,
Brian.
then this has got to be Starlight. Yeah, that's a little closer to Starlight.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's better.
Let's see what else we got going on here. So be sure to share this stream around to all your Brony friends. No, wait, her hair's like bluish, actually. And so we can see more coloring book shenanigans and Starlight Glimmer. Because wait, Starlight Glimmer's got that right there.
I remember
And
right, there
then-
actually is an MLP adult coloring book.
Are they doing
What?
adult things like paying taxes?
Not
No,
the
it's
taxes.
just a coloring book for adults.
I'm guessing they're like, oh, I forgot to color in her horn. Gosh darn it. There we go. Ears. Get some of this.
What
There we
color
go.
were her eyes?
I'm pretty sure they're also purple, but I know she's got like a streak of like turquoise green in that mane.
I'm not seeing too many questions tonight.
Yeah. And also don't forget to sign up to the Patreon to see what you can get in return for
I'm looking
supporting
at
the
a
channel.
picture of her, and yeah, they're purple eyes. But gosh, I think the hair colors you picked are a little too blue. Like that streak, I think is
She looks
fine.
like
but,
she looks like Rarity's mom.
She kind of does.
Isn't Rarity's mom? Oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot her name.
Cookie Crumbles.
Cookie Crumbs
Oh,
or
it was
some shit.
Cookie Crumbles? My brain said Cookie
Yeah, Cookie
Crumbles,
Crumbles.
but like
I think
I was like,
that's
no,
canonical. I think
don't-
it is.
it didn't, for some reason it didn't feel right.
I don't know. I mean, whoever talks about her.
And then with the eyes, you got to go a little bit lighter on the other colors there.
Cosmina said Reading Rainbow was good. And Trent says Arthur.
Arthur,
Those were shows.
never
Couldn't get into Arthur myself.
Never watched any of these. Okay, so Trixie. Trixie is blue and gray.
Never realized Arthur was an aardvark until years later.
Well, he
Do you
doesn't
ever-
look like one.
Yeah, have you ever actually seen an aardvark? I'm pretty sure I just nailed Trixie on her
Yeah, yeah,
color.
that looks good.
That is so incredibly Trixie. Now she's got
Don't forget
like
that one part on her butt.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hold up, I got to do her main first. Or frick, wrong button. Yeah.
Hey, you gotta get her that back of her neck. That back of her neck.
Yeah, like the nape there. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. I
had-
hope you had a wonderful time tonight.
It's also
I think
very
she had some
wrong
like
color for
very, very
Starlight's
light
hair.
blue streaks in there.
Might have.
Very, very wrong colors for Starlight.
What are you talking about? I'm the best at coloring. Y'all should join
Sure.
my Patreon to see me color more, even though I'm probably not going to do that. I should not even be doing this. Oh, why am I acknowledging
Trixie had
the fact
purple
that-
eyes too.
She does. I think she's got the same color eyes as Twilight, actually.
You might. I'd have to
I
see them
can't-
side by side.
Yeah, there we go. And then
I
she had,
swear
like,
her mane is bluer than you're making it look.
Then we got to go like that. Anyway, in a couple of minutes here, we're going to go live and play a little bit more Ponyvania and see if we can defeat Daybreaker tonight, or just in general make some progress on that game. That game's kind of aggravating me. I'm looking forward to being done with it. We'll see how much further we can get. How do you like my interior decorating skills, Heather?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Pea green.
That is the expression
And-
of leaves a lot to be desired.
It's a little cloudy outside. But yeah, if
Like,
so
what shit?
well, this is Starlight here. So if you had fun tonight, be sure to tune into that stream or support the Patreon if you can. We're very grateful to everybody who supports, especially those on the $10 and up tier, which is a very outdated list that I gotta just get a hold of and fix. I apologize to everybody, but I just
Please
kind
get
of
that
suck.
red out of the picture.
The red? Oh yeah, you don't like the red.
It's
Okay,
awful.
well, anyway, stay safe. God bless. We'll see you in a few minutes. Say goodnight, everybody.
Nah.
Good night, everybody.
I need to get some poggers in me. I'm getting too sleepy.
I was just handed a milkshake.